Hey gang, Carl White here. I'm your host here for the next 25 minutes because that's exactly how much time I have. And I think we can pull it off here at the Loan Officer Freedom, #1 podcast in the world today. And I'm joined here by my partners and cohorts, whatever a hort is.
We talk about that every time, man. What's a cohort?
If I'm a hort, you're the cohort.
Oh, great.
So one of these days I have to look up what that is. What is a hort? I'm gonna have to Google that. Any
Not
idea
a
what a
wart,
hort
a
is,
hort.
Kristin? Is it?
I don't
is
know.
that
I'm going to get on. I'm going to get Chat GPT.
Hold on. Hold on. So I'm looking right now. Like, what's a cohort?
It's something totally inappropriate that we shouldn't even be saying.
It's a group of people with a shared characteristic, is what it's saying. A cohort of civil servant.
Well, what a horrible word for something.
I was just going to say, I love that definition.
Cool. Yeah, a hort sounds like you hort. So anyway, so what are we talking about today, Miss Kristin Simpson?
Okay, so I got one for you that a couple of my Freedom Club members and I were talking about. When our goal with Thor's Hammer, our Monday activity and the Daily Success Plan, is to create a list of realtors who are consistently referring to us. Those are our focus 40. We refer to them, right? That's one locked loan a quarter, minimum of 4 a year. Those are our business partners. Okay. And when we create,
so I'm closing minimum 4 a year
with this person.
With this agent. Okay, got it.
With this realtor, right.
Okay.
And one of the things that we were throwing around one day on the Breakfast Club was getting this list, building this list, and then digging deep with them, going deep with them. I had some people say to me, hey, like when you say going deep, I kind of need some meat and potatoes around that. What does that mean? What does that look like?
Hey, you know what's funny, Carl? When we said it and I saw some of those comments, I thought, oh my gosh, people are going to think I can't do it because I'm missing other parts of the process.
There's like a thing I don't have.
Yeah, and I mean, like, what do you mean going deep? Like, what does that mean? So, Carl, you start. I mean, this is a great. Okay, look, so we're doing our Focus 40 calls. They happen every single Monday. We do our Focus 40. The order is Focus 40, then our post-coffee, then our pre-coffee calls. And so, hey, I want to go deep because I'm calling these agents my partners every single Monday. What do I do, Carl? What does that mean, going deeper?
So,
do I change it up?
There's a great book called the 5 Love Languages.
Ah, there you go. That's
so. Just as an FYI, I had no idea this topic until you just said it, Kristin. Because we're sitting here and said, "Hey, I got 25 minutes. You want to do a podcast?" Yeah, sure. All right, perfect. Kristin says, "Hey, I got a great question." Perfect. So, there's this great book called the 5 Love Languages. And I'm going to tell you, that is, without question, the best business book I've ever bought.
Yeah.
And now it's actually not written as a business book. It was written actually in a Christian bookstore, if I remember right. And it's for,
Gary Chapman, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. For a married couple, right. And how to have a better relationship with your spouse. But when I read that, I thought, man, this guy really missed the mark. This isn't about husband, wife. It's about that too, of course. But it's about everybody. Like this is the code breaker. Like this is the secret sauce. And I can tell you, I've been a student of that book for probably the last 15 years, 10 years, 15 years. And nothing has moved my needle more. No one single piece of information than that book right there. So in that book, it talks about the different love languages. And what that means is, like, look, we're all walking around with myself included, right? We're all walking around with a sign around our neck saying, make me feel important, right? It's the #1 drive for human beings, right? So it's right up there. And with our friends that are riding around with their kids in the car, I'm getting ready to say something, but it's right up there with food, sex, and make me feel important, significance. Those are the 3 biggest driving factors. And when I say food, I'm talking like water.
Yeah, water and food.
Oxygen, stuff I need to take my next breath. But it's food, sex, and significance. You scratch those 3. Okay, obviously we're going to take one of those. I'm not going to be scratching that itch for you, Steve. So let's just put that on the table, right? But brother, I'll feed you. Right? I'll feed you, and I'll let you know how important you are to me. So on that significance thing, by the way, I don't, like, Kristin, I'm not going to make you feel important, right? I'm not going to make you anything. However, I will tell you the truth that you're very important to me, and you are, right? We were just talking about that before we hit the record button, just coincidentally. And so I think it's really important to let people know how important they are to you. But, and I tell you why I think most people don't do that is, Kristin, when I say to you, and Steve, when I say to you how important you are to me, how much I appreciate you, right? How much on the appropriate working relationship, of course, or friendship relationship, of how much I care for you, I really do.
Oh, yeah.
See, there comes a fear with that. So it's kind of like the old, I'm in grade school and I go up to my first girlfriend and I pass her the little note, "I like you.
Do you like me?" Check yes or no.
Right. And she checked no.
Mm.
Right. So so when I tell you, Kristin, you're very important to me, right? Which is true. I'm making myself vulnerable, right? I'm kind of laying there open to you. And you could, that's our fear, is put figuratively speaking, a knife in my chest by saying, this is just a job for me. It's not my favorite job I've ever had. It's just like, and so that's the fear that we have by having open and honest communications, how important we are. So now let's take that back to the real estate agent now. So when I go tell my favorite real estate agent, "Mary, you are really important to me. And thank you so much for the referrals. I love working with you," but it goes more than that. Part of those referrals paid for that trip this last weekend. Maria and I went to New York. It was Mother's Day as we're recording this. Mother's Day was last weekend. And Maria said she wanted to go to New York and watch a couple shows. So, honey, that's exactly what we're going to do on Mother's Day. And so now I can have an honest conversation with Mary, say, "Hey, Mary, thanks for some of those referrals that you sent over, that you helped me. My dear, lovely bride wanted to go to New York and wanted to go watch a couple plays. And because of you, I could make that happen."
Yeah.
And I just want to let you know that I really, really, really appreciate it. And we're helping these clients out, and you are personally helping me and my family, because you're helping me help my wife. There's nothing more important than me than that. So I really appreciate you doing that. Right. And to me, that's going deeper. It's just having these honest, appropriate, you got to be careful with this, right? You got to be really, really careful with this, but having honest and appropriate conversations and letting people know how important. I think the mistake we make is I feel like I need to bring you the most recent business book as a gift. And I can tell you right now, that's not going deep. Right? That's not going deep. Because Kristin, let's say I bring you a book of how to bring in new clients. And you go, "Well, wait a minute. I'm pretty top dog around here. I bring in plenty of new clients. I bring in new clients right now, like a lot." And so if I bring you, if I bring Michael Jordan a book on how to play basketball, that's not going deep with him. Frankly, it's an insult.
Sure.
And in that case, it'd be better that I do a little homework and find out he likes cigars, which I've heard. I've never met the man, right? But I've seen him on Cigar Aficionado magazine a couple of times on the cover. So I'm assuming he's smoked cigars. So I'd find out what kind of cigar he smoked. If I want to give a gift, I'd give something to that. People are kind enough, and I'm very grateful for this, send me very kind gifts sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm just being honest. My favorite ones, I like them all because I understand the thought behind it. It's one of the love languages, gifts. And I understand the thought behind it. But the ones that give me a book on the history of Harley Davidson, or the one that gives me the history of old tube radios, because I collect those. Those are the ones that speak to me. But I tell you what's more important than that, Kristin. There's no gift in the world that means as much to me as time. Because time is my number one love language.
Yeah.
Because Kristin, when you spend 30 minutes with us, and we're having in a group, of course, we're having lunch, right? Or we just stop in and say, "Hey, how you doing?" You're a busy person, Steve. You got a lot going on, and when you come and hang out with me, man, there is no deeper for me.
Yeah.
Right. Because I can buy anything except time. It's one thing that I can't buy. So for me, that's why that's my love language, is you can't buy that. You can't at any price. You can't buy time. And so Steve Jobs, with all his money, would have given all away for one more day. Right? Just one more day, he had given away everything. Right. So it's the most valuable thing on earth. So for me, going deep is spending time with these people, which goes back, you have to make sure that they're we use the term qualified agents, which means they're doing good enough business to refer to me, because I can't meet with 300 people. I don't have the time, right? And so the ones that I'm meeting with are ones that's actually send me business, and I'm going to go, or has a potential to send me a lot of business. And so I'll go deep, i.e. time with them, and frankly, just go, whether it's a Zoom or a cup of coffee or whatever, and just spend time asking them questions and what makes them tick, and find out what's their favorite subject. In my case, because I'm an old fart, old tube radios, right? I just love those things, right? And so if Steve, which he has been kind enough to come over and said, dude, tell me a little bit about this, right? And I know he's using a script, but I still can't help myself. I got to start talking about it, right?
Script.
And,
hey, well, hold on. You said
so that's what's
though.
going deep is spending time with these people, which you have to make sure that they're qualified, that they're not worthy as a human being, right? But worthy in business for me to spend that time. That's how you go deep with somebody.
Yeah. Hey, well, Carl, you said something too. You said this in one of the boot camps. You and I teach those boot camps, but you always find a way to come back to it. It's, I want to work with you. And I think sometimes we're making calls because it's a number and not a person. And so whenever Carl's talking about going deeper, here's the 6 words I wrote down. It's a thoughtful interaction. So Kristin, like when I'm doing my check-in calls, so look, the goal is to get to your Focus 40. Focus 40, you will fund 20 to 25 units a month. Look, I can manage and build relationships. And so on Mondays, when I'm doing my Focus 40 check-in calls, it's a thoughtful interaction. I tell you this, it's still only a 3 to 4 minute call, each one. But it's being thoughtful. It's being aware of what's going on in their life. Right now is a lot of graduations happening. Hey, what happened with so-and-so? Hey, I saw the graduation party. High five. That's a deeper than, hey, who did you have today? Now we asked Kristin, hey, listen, man, sounds like it was amazing. Hey, who do you have today that I could help you get pre-approved? You still got to close for commitment because there's an intentionality to the relationship, but it's the focus is I want to work with you. It's a thoughtful interaction. It's being aware. Here's another question. Carl, you said it was a script. It's funny. It's not really a script. It's the third one. Be curious. I think going deeper is asking good questions. Man, you like ham radios? Tell me about it. Like, I didn't even know what a ham radio was. I didn't even know it was ham radio. I thought it was hand radio. But you learn by being curious. Instead of you're a number, I'm not trying to call my 40. I'm trying to, these people are becoming friends and relationships. And here's what I wrote down too. Going deeper does not mean doing more. Going deeper means being thoughtful, being curious, paying attention. They're more than a number. And I'm going to be aware as I'm making my calls. Because look, the better I do, the better they do. And if I'm doing my job, not doing more, and if I'm closing on time, clear communication, great follow-up, I'm touching lead, touching the partner, and I got good people I know, like, and trust, and we're doing business together, man, I got something special. And what does deeper mean? They're not a number. You're working with them because I want to work with you. And in working with you, we're going to do some great business together. So
see, I think the problem with this is people think going deeper, like, so Kristin, me and you, and Steve, me and you, we're not great friends because Kristin, how many times have I gone over to mow your yard for you? Never. Right. Steve, how many times have I gone over to your house and washed your car?
4.
Yeah, no.
no, that's
never
true.
Right.
Right.
So I didn't shine your shoes. I didn't clean your gutters.
You didn't do
right.
A bunch of stuff
I didn't
for me.
clean your driveway. I've never done any of that. Right.
No.
Not that I would. I mean, brother, if you called me up, sis,
I know
called
it.
me
I
up,
know you'd.
Carl, I got a problem. I got this big party. We're tired. I need you. I would literally jump on a plane, fly to Philadelphia, and mow your. I literally would. But it's not the things that we do with these people.
That's right.
That makes it go deep. Frankly, it's how we, I don't know, I hate to say make you feel, but it's how we
interact. It's
how we interact. It's how we, I know there's another word for it, but I can't think of it, but it's how I make you feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head with that, though, because people won't necessarily remember everything you said, but they will remember how they feel when they're around you.
That's it. That's 100%.
And I went, so they tell me, and because this stuff this gets deep. We could really spend some time talking about this. Is, I read a book one time, and what it said, what I got out of it, it sounds so narcissistic, right? But I think they're onto something. It said, I don't love my wife because how I feel about her. what it said was, I love my wife because how I feel about me when I'm around her.
Mm.
And I love hanging out with Steve, not because of it's because how I feel when I'm hanging out with Steve, or when I'm hanging out with Kristin. How do I feel about me when I'm hanging out with these people? And so for me, like, you want to go deep with somebody, get them feeling good about themselves when you're around.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's there is no deeper. Like, that's the pinnacle. That's the summit. Like, there's nothing higher than that. And it's not about, buying them a widget, or it's not about, I'm going to do this and that and
my
this
rates and programs and and I'm going to help you build
my processing fee. I'm going to pay it, right? I'm going to pay it. You don't have to pay. Like, it's not about it's now maybe, hey, I need to do that to make this deal close. Kristin, absolutely, I'll do that for you.
Sure,
of course, sure. Right? So I don't know. To me, going deeper is
being present. It's
and let them know how important they are, right? And I think just having not weird conversations, right? And again, you got to be really careful with this stuff, but having appropriate,
thoughtful conversations.
Yeah, thoughtful conversations. Better way of saying it. I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You want to show somebody genuine interest, ask them questions about them. Ask them things that they're interested in. So when we say dig deep, we're not talking about buying things and giving things. We are giving things, but we're talking about really being intentional about that relationship.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with me. I don't know if I find out that you're into, I don't know, horses, Kristin, and I'm in New York and I see this cool little keychain with a picture of a horse. Nothing wrong with that at all. Like Sue Woodard's a very dear friend of mine. And I remember some years ago, I think it was her birthday, if I remember right. And so she's a marathon runner. So come to find out, they have these little like trophy hanger things that when you run these marathons, and they hang their little gold medals on this little. I've never ran a marathon, so I had never heard of such a thing, right? I didn't even know such a thing existed. But anyway, I sent her that, and she called me up and said, "Hey, I really appreciate it." So there's nothing wrong with giving gifts, right? I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm just saying that that's probably not going to be the thing that's going to be. That's not the secret sauce. The secret sauce is the time that we spend, talking with each other. And you're right, Steve. We can pull it off in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. It's but look, these high producers, they don't have
a lot of time.
They don't have 60 minutes. They don't have 30 minutes. Often not, they don't have 15 minutes, but they got 3.
Yes, they do.
They got 3. And if you can teach them that, hey, I'm a quick, easy, pleasant, make you feel good phone call,
they'll take it every time.
They'll take you every time. Sure will. Anything else, Kristin? Any comments from, you think we covered that, or any thoughts?
I think that was great.
I think
we hit that. You guys hit the nail right on the head with what it means to dig deep with our relationship. It's not about, and frankly, it's kind of weird if you're showing up every time with a gift, right?
It is. It's like, honestly, sometimes I feel like I had a buddy of mine, dude. Every time he came around, a nice guy, right? Let's see. Can I tell this story? Yeah, there's zero chance he'll listen to this, but like every time he'd come and he'd bring me something, right? And I knew what he meant. So his love language was gifts, right? And I like gifts. Don't get me wrong, but it was like every time he came, and sometimes it was kind of nice stuff, right? And I don't know. I almost felt like what's that song? Can't Buy Me Love. It's like, dude, I almost felt, I don't know. It just felt funny, like, dude, you don't have to do this, and it can actually, I don't know, weird's the wrong word, but it's
uncomfortable.
And again, there's nothing wrong with giving something, but it's just the relationship is going to be based on time and relationship and not stuff. We're not prostituting ourselves, right? So it's just, so anyway, that's
just goes back to business moves at the speed of relationships.
That's it. Yeah.
Great saying.
Kristin,
you're awesome. I appreciate you.
Thank you, girl. Hey, hold on. If somebody wants to talk to us, they want help. Where do we go, Carl?
You know what I think? I think we need to tell our crowd right now that you have got to make sure that you're spending your time with qualified agents. And again, I'm not talking about qualified as a human being.
No,
right? Because everybody's qualified for my weekend time, but on my weekday, my 9 to 5, they have to be closing business. And if you don't have a qualified list, which most don't, you think you do, but it's an older list, or they have to be doing good because they got a billboard in town. I'm telling you, that's the biggest snafu I see loan officers make right now. A buddy of ours has a third-party company that we use. We use it in my own branch. Frankly, in my own personal branch, I just bought, I think it was 20. I think it was 20.
Yep.
20 of my loan officers. I just bought this list for them, because without a list of who's qualified, they don't have a prayer. Me, you, or anybody else has a prayer. That's right. What I thought. If you go to qualifiedagentList.com, qualifiedagentList.com, you write this guy a little check or charge it to your card. I don't know, 5, 6, 7 days later, a brand new, absolute fresh list of over 1,000 qualified agents in whatever area you say. You could pick, like, I want 500 in Atlanta and 500 in Nashville, or I want 300 in Miami, 300 in California, and if you're in different areas. Or you can say, hey, there's not 1,000 qualified in my area. He'll just keep drawing the circle bigger out around your house until you get your 1,000. You get a list of 1,000 qualified agents, and following our scripts, man, it's just an absolute home run. So qualifiedagentList.com. And rumor has it that if you buy that list, we'll send you a free link where we'll help you with the scripting of those agents. And I would say, Carl, what's the one thing I can do right now? Boy, that'd probably be it. In today's market, that's the thing right there. QualifiedagentList.com. Hey, thanks, Kristin. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Kristin. You always have great topics. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Hey, thanks again, everybody. So qualifiedagentList.com. Thanks for forwarding this to your favorite loan officer friends, and we'll see you on the next episode of Loan Officer Freedom. Thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.
See ya.